Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another one of our BBH 15 preseason podcast, where we are talking about our cast and going over their stories and talking about what they need to do on this second chance to get it together and get it right. So, today I'm very excited to be talking about a alumni from BBH season 12, Jason Marcus. And joining me to talk about Jason is BBH himself, Mr. Josh Consalvo.
It
Hey,
is
Josh.
I. I am here. I am excited to talk about Jason, but I'm also just excited about the season. I don't know where this one is going. This particular intro or Jason's, introduction is going to land in the scope of the whole cast. But up to this point in my actual timeline, I have not talked about any of these people yet, and so I'm very excited to just talk about the season and talk about Jason and get it going. I mean, it's coming soon, so.
I know I'm very excited as well. Josh has been begging me to tell him when I'm doing all of these interviews, and there are times that I've invited him and he's been unavailable, and then there are other times where I've been like, "Oops, I just forgot. Sorry."
I feel like most times I would have been unavailable anyway, but it'd been nice to know.
Well, you're here now, and we're gonna talk about Jason Marcus from BBH season 12. I think big picture like story for Jason is, his second chances revolves around this advantage that he did not play and what his story could have been had he continued on in the Big Brother Hometowns 12 house. I mean, I don't think he would have lasted much longer past, round 3 or 4, whenever it was that he went out. But, we're going to talk a lot. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about that. Josh, you're very excited to have Jason back on this cast. Tell us why.
Yeah, I was probably like the champion to get Jason on this cast, and there was a number of reasons why. One, there is just an intensity, and intensity is probably the word from Jason that I just really love to watch. There's an extra level of passion for playing the game that he has. He's just a competitor, and I love that about him. Whether or not he is good or not is, in our context, we have a little bit of evidence, and it wasn't great. I think there was the makings of something that could have been good mixed into his intensity, but I just think that is one of the main reasons I wanted him on the cast. And I felt like there's an easy second chance story with the advantage, which we can talk about. But the other reason that I felt like he, in some ways, from the connections in this cast, bridges a little bit of a gap where, like, he has some connections, but he's not in the BBH world like all the time, but he's not unconnected. Like, he just has in terms of the connection map, he's somewhere in that middle ground where I feel like it's helps us round out the cast in a lot of ways. So there's a number of reasons I really wanted to see Jason play again.
Cool. Yeah, I remember his interview for BBH 12 and being very impressed by the way he presents himself and what he promised to bring us in season 12. And he had a great intro video for season 12 in I think it was like a newsroom setting type introductory thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he really does have a really good on-camera presence. I know that that's something that he does in his everyday life. Like, he does his news thing. I think he does a podcast as well. So he's got great energy on camera, and he does give really good confessionals. Watching back the season 12 that's just been released has been really fun, and there's more there than I remembered, and I'm so I am a little bit more excited than I maybe initially was to have him. Obviously, love Jason as a person, just wasn't sure what potentially was there outside of the advantage. But he really does have some great energy in his confessionals. I think he gives great content, and I'm Team TV, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he can embody the kind of Team TV atmosphere. And I feel we can get into his season 12 kind of story, his first chance story. And I think his first chance, while it does culminate in the advantage of it all, and we'll get there, I think it really circles around this idea that Jason really wanted. I think what he wanted was to be a part of this uprising. He wanted to do what Chris Stoner tried to do in season 13, and he wanted to, scoop up these people that were not in power and come for the central like trio of power, which was the perceived Destiny, Mark, and Rizzo. And he really wanted to come for that. And in the midst of it all, he earns this advantage that would grant him safety if he was unsure about who the HOH. Well, if he like it was unsure when someone won HOH, if he was unsure about that person. And what ends up happening is that's Destiny. One of the people he is the most like potentially nervous about, or one of the people he wants to uprise against, and doesn't think that Destiny snows him really.
Yeah,
And
she does. I remember that. She gives him the sell of the century on their one-on-one because she calls him first. She's the first person.
Yep.
He's the first person that she calls immediately after the thing. She's like, "Here's what I'm gonna do. You're safe. Don't worry." Yada yada. Blah 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 blah. And he bought it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, and there's a great confessional in his boot episode from him where he literally is mapping this out. He's saying, "This is the turning point of my game. This is everything. Like I'm either going to like get out of this scot-free with an advantage in my pocket, or I am going to be the fool here, and she will have gotten me." And sure enough, she did. She backdoors him. He goes, "It's in the double eviction," which is a footnote in BBH history. His brother also went home in the exact same spot the season prior. So that's just a fun little tidbit. But
also fun tidbit, somebody that we invited back for season 15 but did not apply. So
yeah, we invited both the brothers, and we're getting Jason. So so that's really his story. He never like in terms of what his strategic, where he wanted to go, that's where he was going, and that's where it was really cut short. I don't know where it goes from that point, because I think there were some points where he struggled. I don't think he realizes he struggled, but his positioning wasn't great, and that's probably because his social game was a little aggressive, probably, where people just like they wanted to trust him, but they were like, okay, you're gonna be at arm's length from me. I see your excitement, I see your energy, I see your enthusiasm, I see your intensity, but I don't know if I vibe with it or not.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really jumps out to me as I look back at season 12 and I think about like, okay, we're getting Jason again. Like, will he and I've done this for all the players, will he overcome the things that were a detriment to him in their first attempt? And I remember so clearly people like Jess T and Lizzie and some of the other females who were like, I don't like this feeling that he thinks he has to be my rescuer and my protector. I am a strong person. I don't need him to do this for me. And they were really turned off by and Jason, in my opinion, was being incredibly genuine about wanting to work with them and wanting to protect them in the game, but they didn't vibe with that like intense like I got you. Don't worry. Like we're going, like we're going to make this happen. Like we're going to, and they found other avenues that did not include him because there was other places that made them feel, like that they were a part of the team versus Jason leading them in the direction that he wanted to go. And I wonder and I worry, like, will he overcome that this time? Because that intensity in him is so strong. And I'm very curious to see what happens. I think, I've only seen him play one game since BBH 12 and it was Double Cross 11. So he was in that game with several people who are also on this cast, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And and he went out pre-merge again. And I would imagine for some of the similar reasons. So I wonder if he comes out of that experience feeling like, what do I got to change? What is the self-reflection that's happening from Jason going into this season about how to change, his game so that he can do better? I'm curious if he's put in that thought and put in that work to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm curious by that as well. I think there is a world. I don't know if I would go as far as to predict it, but I think there is a world where Jason could win. I really do. I think that there's the makings of a really good player in there, and I think that would be interesting to see it happen. And this is the type of season where it could happen. Like this is the type of season where someone like Jason, if we look at, you know, BBH 10, like, Pietro was this person that was like this middle ground connected person in that way, and was not this, like, Jason doesn't come in, I don't think, with this huge threat level. And so I think he's going to have some runway to work with. I don't know that he has no threat level. I think that, in other podcasts, you've asked the question, well, who's coming after this person? Who's coming after them? I don't think we can ask that question and just say, oh, well, no one's coming after Jason. I think that that there is a threat level on his back. I don't think it is of the S tier. I think it's maybe, a step lower, maybe even that middle tier, but there's going to be a threat level on him. So therefore, I think he has runway to work with, and therefore he's got to make those changes to his game, or he's got to be able to read the room, I guess, of his calls, of his chats, of his alliances, and really get a sense of where he sits in those groupings and those relationships.
I feel like Jason potentially could be scapegoated for some of the bolder, like the more S tier threats. Like, I think it's really easy to push a target on a Jason if he's being intense, and if he's being, you know what I mean? If he's being bombastic and like energetic, and, like, if he even steps one toe into that vein, there are people on this cast who are going to scapegoat the hell out of him and push him under the bus so fast that he goes against it. So that he goes, up early and out early. I could really see that for him. I hope that's not the case. I obviously hope for everybody to do well, but, like, gosh, I I think him getting scapegoated is the likely story that we might see here unfold.
I could very much see that. And I don't want to, like, we've not said what are her strengths, what are his weaknesses. I think we've just kind of, talked in broad strokes about him. But I think that he doesn't, like, I don't want us to paint this picture of him having this no social game and he's just in your face all the time. No, Jason is kind of a chill guy sometimes. Like, I think it's in his confessionals where we see the punch, and I think that in the one-on-one conversations, we're going to see him chilling, having good conversations, but he's going to jump to the game talk real fast. Like, he's going to be ready to get in there and talk strategy.
And that might benefit him. That might benefit him in a returning season, an all-star. It might benefit him to jump right in. People are going to be feeling really nervous at the outset about, like, I don't want to, like, spoil the twist, but, like, I think people are going to feel very at risk early on in the first round of the game. And I think they're going to, if someone's willing to talk game with you, you better take advantage of that. And I think that could be actually a strength and a positive towards his game, jumping in pretty early here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point.
There will be no place to hide.
Yeah, there's nowhere. You got to get in there and make it happen.
All of the people.
Yeah. And so anyway,
can we cut that out? No, I'm just kidding. We'll cut
it
out.
I'm not doing that word. It's so hard. It's hi audience. It's hard for us to talk, like, cagey and candid with you all the time, especially here in the preseason.
I guess we just found who's coming in as the last reveal.
Well, maybe. In any event, I think that if to get back on track, if that is the game that Jason plays early on, I think it will buy him the ability to escape first boot, which is good. That, I mean, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to want to avoid that. Literally everybody. And frankly, this is the one thing that I've been thinking about for weeks, is I am terrified to find out who that first person is going to be.
I'm already devastated. I'm already
devastated, truly. And, like, yeah, every season we say, like, oh, this is the best cast ever. And this may or may not be, whatever. It's a great cast. We're very excited about it. But because all of us, like, on production, have, like, relationships with these people, and they're trusting us to come back to play this game again, for one of them to be cut short in just a few short days is gonna be really tough.
Yeah. Josh, your takes for the cast assessment are leaking out
Yeah.
um, in this interview about
Yeah, they are.
Jason.
They
Let
are.
let's wrap up, Jason here. I think this has been a really great conversation about, what Jason brings to the season and what he can bring. What do you think his story will ultimately entail here?
I think this is for him, like if his second chance is about trusting his instincts. Not to not to take a phrase from another game, but to truly to trust his instinct, because I would bet when came to shove in season 12, his instinct would have told him, um, maybe not, but maybe because we know what happened, but his instinct would have told him to not trust Destiny, play that advantage, get the safety, pick up the pieces later. So if Jason can come in, trust his instincts, and get to a place where he like is managing relationships while playing a solid social game, and doesn't come in too hard too fast. I think there's a good balance for him, because we don't want him to not be Jason. Like, I don't want that from him. I want the excitement. I want all the passion. I want all of that. I think he's just got to have to find a way, maybe similar to maybe similar to Greg Wells in BBH 5, to come in and maybe just lay low instead of being what he wants to be. And then, when the game opens up and you have your positioning and things are happening, then go out and swing for the fences and make it happen. And I think that could be a really good trajectory for him coming
Yeah.
into the season.
Yeah, I think there is a world for him to come in and do that. But it's gonna take him to die to self,
Yeah.
relax. I mean, it's what Carl and I had to do to win. You have
Right.
to relax. You have to chill. You have to back off, and you have to like dim your shine, essentially. And if he can do that, I could see a world where he does really well. I'm rooting for every single person on this cast. I hope they all have a fulfilling and great experience, and that extends to Jason as well. Um, and best of luck to him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where he fits in, where his puzzle piece fits into the puzzle of this story, and I think it's going to be exciting.
He definitely, to me, at least from my perspective, it's a weird shaped puzzle piece. I'm not really like it's not like your norm. I can see where a lot of pieces fit, and I'm not sure where his piece fits yet. And
Well,
that's
one thing
kind
I
of
know for
curious.
certain, is he's going to be in there and he's going to be playing,
Hmm.
and he's going to force his shaped puzzle piece to fit in somewhere. For better or for worse, he's going to make it work, because he's going to be in there playing. He's not going to waste. He's not going to waste his time.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Awesome. Well, Josh, it's always so good to talk to you and talk about BBH, which is something that you and I both love immensely. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. Here Josh has made fun of me every single time. I have plugged the Discord. I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to plug the Discord, join get your fantasy picks in, do your merch, do the YouTube page, get all the things done that you need to do in order to be successful for the start of a new Big Brother Hometown season. And you know what? In just days, mere days, season 15 will be upon us. So until you see us again, probably at the cast assessment, to talk about BBH 15. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye, everybody.